What up? What up? What up?
What's up? What's up, everybody? This is Nate. I am King with the second edition of the Bros Uncut podcast, where we are unfiltered, unadulterated, unapologetic, uncut. I got with me my man Willie Soso. What up, Willie Soso?
What it do, folks? 313 all day, baby. What up, though?
I got my man Link. What up, Link?
What's up, family?
I got my man Karanji. What up, Karanji?
What up, dude?
And I got my man TJ. What up, TJ?
What's cracking with it?
All right. So again, this is the show where we give you the unfiltered, uncut version, ideologies, perspectives of 6 black men, our perspective that you don't normally get in everyday media. So how we do this show, we're going to start with the trending topics. So
I got one question.
Yo,
do you like my motherfucking shirt?
I can't even see your shirt, man. What does it say?
Yeah. Check it out.
Yo, is that one of them Caucasian shirts?
Yeah, man. I got one of them motherfuckers. I know Nate said he was going to get one. I got 2 of them.
Can't lie. I thought though. I've always thought those shirts will fly in the mug, man. I always did.
Yeah,
rock the boy one day. Go ahead.
Man, that's a hot shirt.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah. So yeah, we just get into it, man. So trending topics. Trump is a trending topic. Now we can throw him in the IDGAF file if we want.
Yes.
I'm gonna hand that over to Willie Soso. What you think?
No, as much as I want to put that in the I don't give a fuck files. Nah, we got to talk about that, man. This not in a good way. What this clown did was historic.
Everything he
never in history. Never in history, man. I mean, I'm talking about on a global scale. This cat arguably committed treason. Arguably.
Not from the legal aspect, but from
it's a semantical argument. Yeah. Whether it can be pushed legally, I don't know. But you take it to the letter of the law, you can sort of make a case for it.
Explain.
Okay. According to, and I actually had to look it up to see, like Nate was alluding to, if or if not, this could be legally defined as treason, what he did. And for anybody that doesn't know, and at this summit in Helsinki with Vladimir Putin this past weekend, Donald Trump pretty much sided with Vladimir Putin about the election tampering in 2016 over just about every single intelligence agency in the country. Heard something new today. He also doubled down on it and said, if we really want to take a look at it, we can get Russia's intelligence to investigate if or if not Russian intelligence tampered with the 2016 election. Now, how ridiculous is that? With that said, a layman's definition of treason is anything that could be construed as betraying your state or country. And I think there is an argument that can be made to say that that's exactly what this clown did. I don't know.
Well,
I'm sort of impressed about that.
I mean, I think it definitely is something that we've never seen before, where our president is actually bashing his own country for the enemy of all enemies. But secondly, I don't know if you guys heard this, but Trump invited Putin to the White House in the fall.
That's not surprising.
I saw that.
Yeah, so it's definitely taking the country down a different path that we've never been before, and I really want Link's perspective on this.
I mean, Donald Trump is a world-class idiot. He's
True.
a clown extraordinaire.
Yep.
And
I like the way you said that.
he probably should not have been elected president, but that's just it. He wasn't. You know what I'm saying? He lost the popular election by 1 million or so votes.
3 to be exact.
3 million.
Yep.
So at the time, I didn't want Hillary Clinton to win because Hillary Clinton is the devil's bitch. But Donald Trump is an idiot supreme. So both of them were terrible choices, and I like the fact that Donald Trump has manifested so much of the hidden racism, hidden hatred that many white Americans have for Black America, and thus and so a whole unmasking and a comfortable racist white America emerged and started showing off how foul and fucked up that they were. These are things that my teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Minister Farrakhan been telling people for a long time. Now they can see it in real time. But as far as this treason and all this, the dude is a total idiot. 2 days prior, they were asking him about something, and he said no to something. I can't remember. I had to correct me on what it was, but then they got poor Sarah. Yeah, negative. The double negative. They got poor Sarah Huckabee coming out. She got to explain for this dude. They're going to wear poor Sarah Huckabee out. When she get done with that job, they're going to go ahead and put her in the grave.
Bro, she's quitting at the end of the year.
Man, they done wore her out.
She's done. And this is what, like the 4th press secretary that this clown has had in under 2 years?
The dude he's a walking, talking disaster. Now, as far as him being traitorous, I don't agree that he was traitorous. White people feel like he was traitorous. That's great. I love it when they fight. And I love it when even Fox, the Republicans had to say, man, they really turned on him. So I'm happy to see all of that. I love it when they infight and all that because it just proves my point. But here's the real thing. It's 2 things. One, as far as Black people, we need to now see that we need to do for ourselves and stop depending on these people. And we don't need to have no eggs in that basket. But beyond that, for Trump and this whole crap, he tried to make a big deal out of the guys taking knees. Oh, you took a knee, you're unpatriotic. Fire that bastard, get him out of there. But now you're super unpatriotic, betraying the
on a global scale.
On a global scale, on TV, and he's like, yeah, no, it doesn't look like that to me. We're fine. We're okay. And they're like, wow. So, they really, if you ask me, they setting the stage for him to get assassinated.
Hey, TJ, what you
ask
think?
Me?
Man. I'll stay far away from Trump, man. I can't even comment on him. I don't even give him no energy.
Mine.
So you got it in the IDGAF files as well, huh?
Yeah, it's been in that file.
Right.
Well, I'll say this.
Can I comment? Go ahead.
Well, you already said you wanted to put it in the.
Yeah. You said you didn't even care about it.
I don't care, but I'm gonna tell why I don't give a fuck.
Oh wow.
Okay, go ahead.
Really?
I put on my fucking some shit. So why I don't really care, man, is if it bark like a dog and smell like a dog and shit like a dog, it's a motherfucking dog. Like, I really feel that, like, it's so many other things our people are gonna deal with. Trump is just like the personification of white America. Like he is the
I will
like,
agree with that.
yeah,
Privilege, arrogance,
yes.
wealth,
He personifies,
disconnect,
right.
all that.
No accountability all the way. That
Yeah.
motherfucker is just doing it. I'm glad that motherfucker got elected. People might think I'm crazy when I say that. I'm glad he did. Like Link said, he's showing the world what the white man really is. The privileged, unpacked, imbued. Packed, imbued racism and white privilege and white supremacy all wrapped up into one. And they got exactly what they wanted. That's what they wanted. They voted him in. They figured out a way to get him in. And hey, let's talk about something else. Let's see what happens.
Here's a perfect time to bring up the Bros Uncut Facebook page.
Hey,
we got the Bros Uncut Facebook page, and a lot of times we're gonna have discussions that we can't continue on the podcast, but we'll continue them on the page.
Yes, we will.
There's probably one that will continue on the page. All right,
no doubt. In fact, I'll ensure it continues on the page. I'll post a question about it.
All right, bet.
Make sure you log in, check us out, Bros Uncut.
All right, so moving on to the next trending topic. The France team winning the World Cup, and basically the team didn't look like France. I'm not sure where they were all from. Do you know where they were all from?
I know
a lot of them are from
multiple countries.
A lot of them are immigrant
from Algeria,
the country just like
Cameroon.
All these basically francophone countries that have been colonized by France. That's the thing we have to do.
Not necessarily, Karan.
Not all of them, but significantly, most of them, yes, are from colonized countries, brother.
Well, that's because they colonized them and they now speak French, so it's easy. I'm not saying people playing there they go in there based on their ability to play. The paper was just like any other color.
I'm not explaining the why. I'm just telling you. I mean, one of the realities is that it's from the colonialization. And
I think that's. I don't know how big that is, because you got people on there who probably don't speak French at all.
I think it's big.
Yeah,
I think it's big.
Now, how many of the people there were from
France,
places that were colonized by France? Like I know Algeria was colonized by France, but I don't know about Cameroon though.
Yes, it was. Cameroon was a francophone country too.
Yeah. Quite a few countries were colonized by France in Africa, and quite a few people speak French, like Mali and many different.
Right. If you talk to the brother, listen to the one of the most powerful scholars of our time, brother Don Henry Clark, discusses that, and Dr. Ben does as well. The idea that you begin to adopt the values and adopt the ways and the homeland of your oppressor, and you begin to play hard.
But I don't know where that with the question though. Where does that fit in with the question?
It fits in perfectly, because think about it. They're not playing for their countries. They had to go to France. You never see an African country win no dang on World Cup, because it's like they had to go there. And keep in mind, most of them were not born there. They immigrated there as children and stuff like that. Some were born, but
that's not necessarily true either.
Not all of them.
That's I think they said, with the exception of maybe like 4 or 5 of them, a majority of them, their parents may have been immigrants, but they were actually born in France.
Right, I mean, like first, second generation. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the consistent draining of talent from the continent of Africa, which I have a problem with. I see it in that context.
I think you're stretching.
Except for there's one issue. They didn't drain them, the continent of Africa. They didn't go and pick people from Algeria or Cameroon or Mali. These people willfully went and played.
Definitely,
and chose to play for.
Right, and that's part of the conditioning.
The French team.
That's part of the conditioning. You choose to
How
play.
how is that part of the conditioning when they were born there?
Let me elaborate. I will explain if you listen to me. When you have been conditioned to see the standards of life and greatness, to be in a country that basically raped your country, made you accept their religion, more for the most part, their ways of what is righteous as far as eating, everything from eating to dress, to
Righteous.
language. So let me finish what I'm saying, please. To language, all the way down to
What
your
we talking about?
education, which is even one of the biggest reasons why many of them were the elite Africans that immigrated to Africa to France because of that, quote unquote. And so you can never truly educate a black man or woman in a francophone country, and then you say, okay, now this country is gonna be my country. I'm gonna play for this particular country, blah 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 blah.
So let
Did
me
you just say
let me just
francophone?
interject
Did he just
this.
say francophone? Did he
Yeah,
say
they call
francophone?
francophone. They call francophone countries.
Wow.
so here's
Okay.
where the flaw is, man. The flaw is that France colonized certain countries in Africa. They didn't.
Right.
They
I
didn't
don't think that's a
bring-
part of what we talking about, though.
Right,
That's,
but they
But with that
didn't bring.
description he just gave, he just talked about America, though.
Yeah,
right.
Oh,
That's anybody. That's
sure,
everybody. You
yeah.
can do that with anybody.
sure.
All the African people, unless they playing for an African country, they fall into that box like that. That's not what the thing with France and the team and all that. As I look for my groceries, excuse me, y'all. The thing about France and the team is that the team don't represent France, and France has been extremely xenophobic, and they don't want people immigrating in, and they get on the, they
That's the
make all
real
kinds of
issue.
Right,
preach about against it and all that, but yet you use
right,
them same immigrants or children of immigrants in order to win, and
right.
you applaud the team when it comes to sports.
I'm solidify my point. You in a place they'll motherfucker don't want your ass in the first place. Only
I
wanted
know,
you.
but they're not necessarily coming. Some of the broader points you were making were kind of they that's not really like you said. A lot of people are from there,
From there.
but they don't want them immigrating there. But yet they won the championship because of
And
that.
can we address the elephant in the room on this? There's a matter of money. Them cats are not playing for them for free.
That's why I said that was a stretch on Karanji's
A
part
majority of
because
these cats, that
they
are
getting paid.
there,
France got the money for
they're
them.
getting paid
Yeah,
really, really, really well to
right.
do what they did.
So like
I
I
mean,
said, it's
And
a
they
minor point.
probably,
It's a minor.
that's a minor point to me because most of them, first of all, when the World Cup is over, they playing for international teams across the whole. They playing for Madrid and all these countries. I mean, they split up and go all over the world. You know what I'm saying?
and France
No,
and them playing in the World Cup is no different.
They don't just go back and forth to different countries, man. You play for France, that's who you play for. You got a contract. You got.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Hear me out. When you play for the World Cup, that's like playing for the Olympics, which means that you go come play for the country that you were born in, that you are a citizen of. So yes, they play for that country.
And why do you think they come and play for them?
Because they definitely get paid. But I'm saying is that money is
Lots of money.
The money is a part of it. Yes, it is. But they getting paid anyway. Those are professional soccer players. It's like if you go to, so like for example, so they're gonna when as soon as they won the World Cup, they're going either to America. Some of them play for American teams, or they going to wherever they gotta go to get paid for that particular. You know, don't forget, Major League Soccer is across the world. I don't know if the soccer in the in Europe is Major League Soccer or not. They have their own major league over there. They have it in South America.
They do.
Right. So what I'm saying is that it's like when you have a bunch of NBA players that play for America. They great. But then when after the Olympics is over, they all go back to their teams. It's the same.
Yeah, that's you made a bad. That's not the same.
And with that in mind, Karanji, let me say this. If Algeria paid them cats enough money and they had Algerian citizenship or Malian citizenship or Cameroon citizenship, then they could go and play for them as well.
So that's
but the major issue is money.
Can somebody do a fact check on that? Because as you mentioned earlier, they do make a lot of money, like they make way more than NBA players
Yes,
and
they
all
do.
that. The stars. Now, so if that's the case, if I'm Algeria or whoever, France or whatever, if I'm paying you $80 million or $160 million for 4 years or whatever, I'm not
I
gonna
got
let you
you on
play for
lock.
nobody else. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the point of a contract.
I
What
got
if you
you.
Well,
play for somebody
it's a
else and get
different.
hurt? Like
World
who
Cup
are
is
you playing for if you leaving my team and going? There's no
you understand?
international
Like, it's
team.
a
So what are
national.
you saying?
I'm gonna explain to you, Kyrie. It's a national team. Yes, they get paid to play for it, but also, Kyrie, the World Cup is only every 2 years. You think of just sit in the
Four
house every four
every
years,
4 years.
sit in the house for 4 years and not play, not work, bro. These brothers like basketball players, bro. Once the World Cup is over, they're going back to their teams. It is the exact same thing, fam. I promise
Who are
you.
they playing for in the
They're,
World Cup?
They play for
That's what
France.
I'm saying.
They play for. But I'm
they
saying,
have
Who
they
are they
have
playing for
French
when the World
citizenship.
Cup is over?
I don't know what team they play
Some
for.
of them play. Some of them play in the Euro leagues. They
Yeah,
play
right.
in
I'm saying,
France, in Spain,
right,
in South America. Yeah, that is true.
Any of
right.
them
That
play
is
for
true.
Atlanta? You know, Atlanta got a soccer team.
Yo, actually, some of them actually no, because like for
Atlanta,
instance, speaking.
Atlanta football team ain't shit. So how they soccer team gonna be?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, yo,
I'm not.
Excuse me.
but
I'm
I'm still
sorry.
TJ,
trying to figure it out.
to your point, TJ, yeah, some of them do play for MLS. Like for instance, David Beckham, who is of British descent, in the World Cup, he plays for England.
Right,
And when the World Cup is over, he comes and he plays for the LA Galaxy.
right. That was my point.
So, and that, but also to your point,
Oh, so
Karaji,
they
that
don't get they
still
don't. So
has nothing to do with the issue of there being a bunch of black men on the French team. They're there mainly, well, mainly because they were born there and they're French citizens,
Players.
and B,
okay.
because France is paying them well to be there.
So I'm gonna throw this one in the IDGAF file because I really don't care about the world.
Well, I mean,
Real
that's very
football.
possible.
I don't care about the World Cup either. However, I did learn something, but more importantly, this France is hypocritical in as much as they don't want immigrants. They got a problem. They're getting up. They're making speeches and doing all this, but yet they're benefiting. I think that's the real story. That's really what we're talking about here.
So good point, but that kind of leads us to another point that we didn't really prepare to talk about, but let's go there. So a lot of African countries are actually taking their land back and basically taking the white people that had taken over the land and everything. I think South Africa's doing it. We know Zimbabwe did it. What you guys think of that? Because that's actually kind of the reverse of what happened to them.
I totally agree with that shit. You know me. Yeah, getting my shit. I totally. Like, and the funny thing is, they got the audacity to actually be like complaining, motherfucker, this ain't your shit. And at the same time, when you had control of the land, you wasn't just and equal with the resources of the land for the people that live there. You was a selfish motherfucker, and that's the best word I can use for that particular.
So keep in mind though. Keep in mind that this land that they're taking back, the people that they're kicking off the land, some of these people are like our age. You know what I'm saying?
What?
But what I'm saying is, to them it's an injustice because
they still practicing white supremacy and white globalization and white economic oppression of dark people. They still living good. If you go to South Africa and you look at Cape Town or Johannesburg and you see where the black people live at, majority of the black people, and you look at where the white people live at, it's like, what the hell happened here? In their country, in their land. So I don't know if you've been there for 100 years. Get the fuck on, because you ain't done the right thing since you've been there. It's like in this country, where white people have basically profited off the oppression and destruction of Native American and indigenous people and African people. And they live in fat and they high horse. Not all of them, but a large majority of them, way more than us. And they say, no, we don't owe you anything. Like, it's like if I stole from your grandmother great-great-grandmother, and now all my kids is rich, and you born now, and I don't owe you shit. Get the fuck out of here. If you stole from my great-grandmother, and I get to get the power back, give me my shit. Otherwise, we're gonna have some real problems.
What you think, TJ?
I love it. That's real talk, though. You know, I mean, like reparations is real. Like,
hell yeah.
You know,
Fist bump.
I mean, and it's so far gone though. It's like, you know, it's kind of like money already spent, so you ain't never looking for it to come back.
Well, but in South Africa and in Zimbabwe, they taking it back. They taking back the resources. They taking back the land, and they just literally kicking the Caucasians off the property and taking.
Well, the opposite is happening. The opposite is happening in the cities, and it's called gentrification.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what happened? I mean, to me,
that's a little different. A little bit different gentrification. But quite a bit different.
But
quite a bit different.
Yeah, it's quite a bit different.
I will say this. You may think I'm crazy.
No, not really. Let's explore that. It's not.
I got a great example.
Go ahead, TJ.
So, Morris Brown College sat on 36 acres. Exactly 36 acres.
Shout out to NBC.
Most definitely.
For sure. HBCUs. Shout out to them all HBCUs.
I know a lot of people have heard a lot of stories about what went down with the school and things of that nature. But I was there. I was on the inside from the beginning. And I've always felt in my own heart of hearts is that our battle had nothing to do with accreditation and all that other stuff. It always had to do with location. And when you have location and when you have land and you have people who are watching and trying to obtain that, if there are any cracks that you have in your system, they're going to be exposed. And you don't necessarily have to do it yourself for them to be exposed. If people want your stuff, they'll come after and get it by any means necessary.
Let's look at Detroit, and let's look at how
same thing.
The water department was owned by the city, and none of the mayors would give it up. Even say what you will about Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, but he wasn't giving up the water. And so what did they do? You know, they created an issue with the schools. They created an issue financially for the city, and they overemphasized the scandals with Kwame Kilpatrick. And what did they end up doing? They ended up taking over the city, taking the water, taking the school system. So they created an atmosphere of basically taking the land.
Yeah, they distract you on other fronts.
But if you notice one thing, if you notice the pattern of white supremacy, they continue to do the same thing. They colonize. They through deceit and through deception.
Let me interject something real quick. Y'all forgive me. Forgive me.
When a people has done things for thousands of years, that's their pattern. When they want to take, they're going to colonize the land. They're going to take what they want.
I get that, Karaji. Let me interject something real quick. And y'all forgive me. I had a minor catastrophe going on over here, but I came back just in the nick of time to interject this. We were talking about how they took back the land in Zimbabwe, how they took back the land. They're in the process of taking back the land in South Africa, and we were equating that to things like TJ brought up the point about Morris Brown, and Nate brought up the point about Detroit. Were any of these people, for instance, in Zimbabwe, when they took back the land, their economy crashed. They went through a period where they were damn near on the verge of famine. A lot of people are projecting and predicting that may happen in South Africa. I don't think it will. I think they can sustain themselves. Um, I'm not. I do know that there was some systematic things going on with Morris Brown, but I can't speak to the specifics of it like TJ. And then there's Detroit, which while the suburbs continuously, basically for our entire lifetime, came for our resources in Detroit. In any of these situations, do you all feel that we, and by we, I mean the people or the powers that be of these particular places, were complicit in helping, maybe not directly, but indirectly through, say, corruption or misappropriation or just general negligence? You all think that they were sort of kind of complicit in helping these processes occur?
Well, let me speak on that first.
Hold on, let's give the floor to TJ. TJ, let's hear from you on that one.
Yeah, in a lot of aspects, yeah, most definitely. Hands not totally clean in that area, but at the same time,
I can't hear what you're saying, bro.
can you hear me?
Yeah, you coming in low.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I hear
we
you.
got
Yeah.
you.
I hear you.
Yeah, I was saying I definitely agree with that. The hands are not totally clean in all areas. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, what ends up happening is that when help is sent, or when there are individuals who are put into the mix, um, that can get you above board, that's when you see the machines working in the background to block.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I would say also to add to that, to what TJ said, they have
And let's make this,
they're,
Karanji, let's make this point quick. We at the 30-minute mark. We got to move on to the next point. But go ahead and make your point.
the thing that has always existed. First of all, we have to look at the network of white people. White people's network is so vast. So what has happened historically in African countries or people of countries of darker people, even in Haiti, when the Black Haitians took over Haiti, the Europeans said, "We're not gonna do no business with you. We're gonna make sure you get in debt." And they took a couple sellouts in the country to help that to occur. And so it basically made the country become in poverty for the last 300 years. Similar things happened in Cuba as well. So what happened in Zimbabwe was when these white people got mad and that Mugabe said, "Get the fuck off my land." What they do is they say, "Well, I'm gonna talk to my buddies. We're gonna make sure you get no aid. We're gonna make sure you do have tariffs. We're gonna make life so they basically isolate you." And not only that, what they'll do is they'll say, "You know what? If any country, African country, helps you, we're gonna put tariffs on them." They had something recently occur when a country where the United States spoke out against breast milk, and even though they know breast milk is the best form of vitamins for babies and for their livelihood, they were going to put a resolution to the United Nations to do that we should all push promote breast milk. But the United States was so powerful, they said, because it's gonna hurt all these soybean companies from producing all of this. People don't realize how much money is in formula. They said no, we're not going to support that. And so what happened? The African countries and the Latin American countries said no, I can't support that. But it was about to pass until the United States said that. So I let you know the power of money and the power of how white people will work together when it comes to disenfranchise you and basically pull the chair up and you try to be independent.
All right, we got to make that the last word. Let's continue this one as well on Bros Uncut on the Facebook page. Let's continue that one as well. Moving on, which is actually going to lead into our topic for the day. Another trending topic is Charlemagne the God. So Charlemagne the God is in the news for an incident that happened 17 years ago with a 15-year-old girl. Basically, he threw a party. He threw the party. The girl was at the party. There was drinking involved. The girl claims that she got raped. From my understanding, the God turned himself in, submitted to DNA testing, and it was proven that he had no sexual contact with this young lady. However, he did plead guilty to contributing to the delinquency of a minor due to there being alcohol involved with the underage person. Now, 17 years later, this young lady wants to reopen the case, and the prosecutor has refused to reopen the case. So the question is, one, men being accused falsely, and two, old solved or resolved cases coming up 20 years later. What do you think of that? Go ahead, Willie So.
I think that is the trend, and I don't know if it's a new trend. I think that perhaps it's just something that we're really paying attention to because it's something that's happening now with much more frequency. But that's the way it goes. Whether it be Bill Cosby, whether it be Matt Lauer, or whomever. Not to parallel any of those to the situation with Charlemagne the God, because apparently, and in some cases clearly, a lot of these guys now that are being accused of things, they actually are complicit in doing what they were accused of. However, even before it was found to be true that they were complicit of whatever they were accused of, the mere accusation appears to be something that carries weight. And I think that's a problem, and I think it's a slippery slope for us to go down as a society.
TJ, what you think?
I think it's a reflection of where our society is because there's no more privacy. Nobody's private anymore. So everybody's coming out. You know, you got all this social media, you got all these platforms. Everybody wants to share all their business. So that's changing the mind frame of the people and their approach to stuff that might have happened a while ago. Because now it's different. Everybody wants to tell everybody what's going on in their life, from what they eating to what type of toilet paper they using to where they going. I mean, they tell everything.
So you think that the bringing up allegations from 20 years ago is an attempt to get attention through social media and to gain some kind of notoriety?
Everybody wants likes.
Everybody wants likes. That's a true statement.
I think it's
much so.
I think it's deeper than that. I think it's about that bread. I mean, like, if sometimes people come by, well, let me see. I know Charlemagne the guy got probably a couple million. If I could just get half, if I could just get 250,000 for this, because what happened is, well, they might not get the legal part, but maybe they can get a civil suit. You know what I'm saying? To get a couple dollars. Hey, if you think about it, I mean, like if you look up here and what happened with the situation up here in Lansing, which was very unfortunate with the master guy. You know, those. I mean, they that guy got in trouble legally, but all those victims was rightly victim. They got paid for that. So what happens is you have those very true situations which are definitely deserve to be addressed. Then you have people who say, "Well, I'm gonna talk about what happened to me," or you know what I'm saying, like people could take things that weren't even that really didn't happen and try to piggyback off of it. And the reality, the scary part is there is no accountability. Like if you lie about if you try to create something and stain somebody, you don't go to jail if it was a lie. Like the brother in Georgia that was falsely accused of rape, and the brother went to jail for 10 years almost, destroyed his whole NFL career. That sister didn't get no jail time for that. They got to pay the money back, but she didn't get no jail time for that. And that's a travesty to me.
Link, what do you think?
To agree with Karanji 100% as much as I heard Minister Farrakhan say this. He said that when a person lies on another person, first of all, when a person brings a charge on somebody, accuses somebody of something, and there's a consequence to it, he said there should be a consequence to a person if they're lying. So therefore, if it's true, the person is up against the consequence, but if it's false, the accuser is up against the consequence. And I agree with that 100%. It is an absolute travesty when we live in a society now where anybody, but most specifically females, women, can make accusations and they don't have to be founded. They could be half truths.
At
They
all.
could be right. They don't have to have any facts behind them, or they could have half facts, or they could be somebody's perspective on something, and a person is automatically in trouble. And like Hank said earlier, you get tried in the court of public opinion,
Man,
not a real court, but the court of public opinion, and you could end up losing millions of dollars or money. You could end up getting charged. You could end up having to settle. You could end up going to jail. You could end up with your reputation destroyed. Then it could be later found out that that wasn't quite what happened, or you have a shady character, the accuser, or that it was totally false.
None of that
And like you
matters.
say, oh well,
It's already
yeah.
been
So
said.
no accountability. I don't like the America that we live in. A woman can say, "You beat me." You know, a woman can stand up, but he beat me for years. Why you didn't say nothing then?
So
For whatever reason, I didn't.
what's
I
Speaking
don't
of
agree
that,
with none of that.
Shady
And,
McCoy, Shady McCoy is going through that right now.
Yeah.
who's McCoy?
LaShawn McCoy is going through specifically that.
For the running back.
For the
Are you talking about Delicia Cordon?
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Yeah, that's the woman's name. I got some info on that. I know people that are in those circles that know them directly. And the truth of the matter is that Delicia Cordon is a woman who is on the she looking for that bag. She's trying to get that bag. So them the kind of people that she date. Now, for what I understand, there's a house that she's staying in that's not hers. It's owned by LaShawn McCoy or Sean McCoy or whatever his name is.
Right.
And therefore, he's asked her multiple times, please exit the house or get out the house or get the F out the house, whatever he told.
Right.
Then at that point, she refuses because their relationship is over and they broke up. And she looking for that next bag, but she not trying to let go of where she at. And at the end of the day, she claims that, well, her friends are basically pushing the narrative as well as she is, that there was a home invasion and the guys came in and they beat her up bad. And she's saying that the guy, LaShawn McCoy, sent them there. However, in his defense, he had already filed legal paperwork for her to start the
Eviction process.
start the eviction process, even though she wasn't a tenant per se, but for her to get removed out the house and all that. And that really will hurt him in court. But however, if he did send the dudes in there to whoop her up, that makes him an evil mastermind, to be honest, because it would throw everybody off. Like, why would he do that? He didn't do that. You know,
Right.
so I don't know what the truth is behind it. However, it is another example of accusations. And my man, you know, when you play for the NFL, her friends. Hold on, let me say this. Let me just say this. Her friends, Delicia Cordon's friends, which include Evelyn Lozano, another woman who got beat up by a football player, and some other people like that. They said that this man, LaShawn McCoy, they say he take performance-enhancing drugs. They've seen it. They said that he kicked and beat his dog, kicked his dog around, and then they said that he beat up on his young son. Now, if them the three
As well
things
as being a woman beater to her.
right, and a woman beater. Those are the four things that'll get you put out the NFL. Those four things.
Right.
Beating dogs, beating women, beating
anybody.
children,
Taking drugs.
and taking PD.
Hey.
Them the one.
Right.
And
Right.
that
on
mean,
down the
Come
line.
on now.
Hold on.
They going for blood, man. Yeah.
In
Yeah,
that
they
order.
going for blood.
That's the same thing that happened to Reuben Foster from 49ers. And his
Yep. Same thing happened to him, and she wound up recanting her statement.
It was so bogus, she had to come out and recant it. I wanted to see.
Now, let me say this also. NFL men some do beat their wives. NFL men, some do take PEDs. I'm not all the way I'm not giving passes or excusing people for what they do. I'm just saying that two wrongs don't make right. That's all I'm saying.
I'll say this on that note, Link. What you do is not a reflection on me. If you kicking dogs and you taking PEDs and you're beating women and you abusing your kids, just because we both run a football don't mean that I'm doing the same thing. So we can't have those accusations just carrying weight just on the strength of somebody else did it.
Right.
All right, guys.
So, yeah, I agree with you.
And then there's a racial component to it too. You never see no white boys never get in trouble for that. When the white boys
I disagree.
When have you seen that?
I disagree as well.
A public case of it.
Then Ben Roethlisberger got into some trap for rape and
yeah, he did.
No, he
yes,
didn't.
He did.
He didn't for
yes, he did.
Bro.
Yes, he did.
He did not serve a suspension or nothing, bro. He didn't get no
Yes,
time.
he did. Okay. Yes, he did. Serve a suspension. He absolutely did, and he came out of oodles of money. He did. He probably should have got worse.
There's been other ones who beat their wives, and it's not. I'm not saying that race isn't a component, but white people get caught up in this too. It tends to be a male-female thing, but see, there's always a bigger picture because, again, ladies, why are you dating these men? When you first see that they're abusive, why are you staying with these men? They've been in these relationships with these guys for years. You know what I'm saying?
It's that bad, like you said, it's that bad.
Hey,
right.
So
wait a minute. So there's occupational hazards. Just like when you're a police officer and when you're a fireman, when you going for that bag, you might get punched in the mouth. You know what I'm saying, or something.
Now you victim blaming, brother.
Oh man.
Get some blowback for that one, bro.
Oh man. Victim blaming? No, I'm just saying.
So what's the next topic?
When you chasing that bag, there's occupational hazard. Sorry.
You'll get some blowback for that one, brother.
If you're not chasing that bag, I'm not talking about you. But if you're chasing that bag, you know what I'm talking about. Because you done got slapped upside your head a couple times. They said allegedly.
They said they should allegedly without getting beat up. You know what I'm saying? That's they said.
No, because high risk means high reward. Anytime you got an opportunity to get your hands on a couple G's, you might get your head knocked off. I mean, that's just.
So
he hardcore, League hardcore, bro. He hardcore.
Hey, let's wrap this up with a question though. We can do a roundtable question. And I want to know because we all are black men, and so all of you guys know me. You know me from high school, and some of you know me better than others. You know, the guy that I was at 20, 21, 22 years old, I'm a lot more mature now. And so how do we keep from having allegations from 20 years? And when I say that, let me just make this clear. When I say I'm a different guy, I'm saying that, I had a temper. So, I done smacked some people up, and rightfully, deservedly so.
Look.
Rightfully and deservedly so.
I shudder.
Me and Link know. We was at Hampton University, and we know about this brother right here.
We definitely know.
First off, I'm just gonna say this. Nate has been my best friend since age 14, and I'm gonna say this: there's no way in hell I even want to possibly contemplate some of the things that we, let alone myself, did in the past. I don't. If they come for me, look. If they come for me for what happened at 21, I'm telling you right now, I'm not fighting it. There's no need to because some of the shit is so atrocious.
Wow.
It's not worth fighting. It's not worth it. I'm gonna say my I'm sorries. I'm gonna kiss my daughter on the forehead and go to the precinct and turn myself in. Okay? I don't even want to think about that.
Wow.
Seriously.
So
I don't.
So well, how do we protect ourselves from or let's say it ain't true? How do we protect ourselves from 20-year-old allegations?
Let me say this. Let me say this a little bit. Because this is a real big issue with me, real sore spot. I feel like once the situation has been resolved or solved, I think that needs to be it. You know what I'm saying? For instance, I watched Michael Jackson get accused of rape and then get paid a large settlement. Hold on, I'm getting there. He paid a large settlement in the 90s. No, I'm getting there. And the first time he paid a large settlement in the 90s to have it settled, just to have somebody, a prosecutor, some asshole, bring it back up, even though it was settled with a payout, and then run it again, and then the results were not guilty, to then have his public image and his reputation be hung in the court of public opinion, and then for it to as if it was true all the way up to when he died. He was died, and they kept saying, alleged sexual misconduct. This kept going. Like, I was like, wow. Only to after he died, have one of the guys or two of the guys say it wasn't true. One man killed himself out of guilt. Now, I watched Bill Cosby. Again, multiple 20, 30-year-old cases or allegations, some of them unfounded, some of them completely false, some of them with some facts to them, and some of them with some substance, but yet quite different than the way they were portrayed in the media. I watched him settle a case in the 90s with a large payout. Just to have a prosecutor, have it sealed, just to have a prosecutor unseal it. What am I sealing it for? And then you pull it out, and then you use it against me, and then another guy brings up the charges. Then I go back in the court on the thing I paid you millions on just to have to come back guilty in my latter days. And I also watched who else got hit with the 20-year-old long time ago allegations. Somebody else like very popular or whatever.
Russell Simmons caught that L.
Russell Simmons,
yeah.
Some other people. But here's the thing. I don't care. This is my personal opinion. If I did something wrong to you and you take a settlement, that's that. If I did something wrong to you 25 years ago and we solved this some kind of way or resolved it, I don't want to hear about it 25 years later. I think that is extremely unfair, and I think that's really wrong. I think that's as bad as whatever it is you're accusing me of. Unless it's murder.
I agree.
Unless it's murder. Murder, bring it back. You know what I'm saying? No double jeopardy on murder.
I mean, just think about this, and this is a little bit of a similar thing. Look at the bullshit with that. They just finally found the people who killed Emmett Till guilty. You heard about that bullshit, right? I mean, and both of them, and they motherfuckers. Both of them is dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, both of them murders is dead. You know what I'm saying? They live their life. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, for real. That's so disrespectful to me.
They got to live a full life, and the accuser got to live a full life. And
accuser's still alive. Accuser's still living. She walking around free.
And didn't make the confession until her old age that she lied.
Right.
And so this kind of brings us to the point we do have to wrap this up, but how lies on black men
have been destructive.
Have been destructive, from Rosewood to Black Wall Street and all the in between.
Further back than that.
True. We've seen in particular white women, but women in general that have caused destruction by lying or making accusations that weren't true.
And to me, I categorize it as this, simple as this: the villainization of the black male body. You know, that's what it is. We're villains. If you look, I mean, like no other man on this earth, I think, is villainized like the black man, and I think that's something that definitely needs to be addressed very unapologetically and very because it's not just us; it's our babies, our little boys are villainized even. But they had some cops draw down on some little boys, little black boys. You never hear about no shit like that happen to no little white boys. You know what I'm saying? That's because we've been villainized. And that, I have a very, very, very large issue with that bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
All right, fellas, we're gonna have to give you the last word, Karanji. This will be another topic that we will definitely finish this discussion on the Bros Uncut Facebook page. Right now, at the end of our show, this is where we dedicate time for two things: health and mental and psychological health as well. So I'm gonna turn it over to Karanji to give a quick minute health tip for everybody listening.
Hey everybody, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Well, this week has been a very productive week for me as far as my health, and I hope everybody else has been doing very well this week as well. This week, I would like to point out that there are a lot of things that are in your direct surroundings that are very good for you that can help you to be just to enhance your health. One of them, of course, is water. You know, I think we don't drink a lot of water. And another thing I would say is your habits. Change your habits. When I say habits, I mean just simple shit, simple things, not shit. Simple things. I'm trying to work on my cousin. Simple things like reading the back of the ingredients on the food that you eat and know what you're eating. A lot of times, oh, it sure do taste good. But there are many additives in American food that are not even legal in other countries. So take the time to research what you're putting into your system. Another thing I will also encourage you guys to do as well is to learn about alternative forms of medicine. You know, the medical industry is a humongous, very profitable industry, trillions of dollars with the hospitals and the medical supplies. Many of them are not even needed, and they actually destroy our body more than help us to get better. So just learn three things. Like I said, drink more water, look on the back of your food items, and also research the alternative ways of body really not built by medicine. Builds itself. Okay? Work out 3 days a week, get proper rest, water.
Hey, Link, mute your mic.
And also only eat until you are not hungry anymore. Don't eat until you are full. That's a big thing a lot of people do. They eat until they full. Eat until you're not hungry anymore. That's a total different thing.
Hey, Karanji, why don't you let everybody know how much water they should be drinking?
Well, and it varies per person, but the rule is supposed to be an ounce per every pound you weigh. Now that would be very difficult for a person that's extremely overweight. But what you can do is take that number at least and cut it in half. At least eat half the amount of weight of ounces that you are a day, at the very least. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should get at least 100 ounces a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I even have to get better on that. But drink a lot of water. It doesn't have to be just water. You can add, like, you can enhance your water with fruit. You can enhance it with mint. You can do even a little small amount of raw honey. Those things will also add to your system as well and help you to increase your, and lime and lemon is good also at balancing the pH and the electrolytes in your system as well. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Karanji. So I will leave you guys with this last word. So a lot of times we are inundated with negativity in our everyday lives. And the one thing that we have to do is to start with ourselves. You can't change your surroundings, but you can change yourself. And the first thing that we need to change is our minds. We need to change our minds and look at situations from a different point of view. Start to look at everything from a positive point of view. Thinking positive, living positive, speaking positive. Those are the things that add to a better life and it make you feel better. How can you tell that you're being negative? Well, how do you feel? If you're not feeling good, about what you're about to say or about what you're thinking, then what do? Change your thoughts. It's really that simple. If you're not feeling good about what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're doing, then it's time to change how you think. Think of something that you are grateful for. Think of something that's more positive, and you will instantly start to notice that inside you're going to feel better. And so that's the motivational moment for today. You've been listening and watching Bros Uncut. Thank you. We'll see you next episode.
Peace and love, fam. Hey.
Hey, holler.
Holla. I'm stopping it, fam, right now.